system that that's managed for them.
Right. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And tell us a little bit about I know this was a while back now, but you were deeply involved in the decision process. Tell us a little bit about some of the communications challenges prior to moving towards the 8x8 cloud.
Yeah. So, when we first started, I think it was 2003 when we first opened our doors, we were using a phone system that was managed on-prem. I don't even know if VoIP existed back then. And we started to work with offshore call centers. And like James was describing how they have call centers scattered throughout the United States, we hadn't yet grown to that. And so we were looking for outside vendors to help us both with incoming and outbound phone efforts to prospects and customers. We looked to a VoIP system that was, like I said, offshore in the Philippines, and I want to say this was around, 2006 or 2007, and just the phone quality for VoIP wasn't there. And we would roll back the tapes and listen to recordings of how an agent would do, and just be awestruck, taken aback on how poor the quality was. And the offshore communications companies would explain, well, it's not really our fault. It's not really the telecommunications equipment's fault. It's just, listen, the technology is just not there yet, but it makes sense for us to be an early adopter because it's so cost efficient. And so what we were having to do is we were having to balance out, well, their cost efficiency argument with our lack of quality, and maybe we weren't being engaging enough with the customer due to call quality issues, degradation of the phone line, dropped calls and such. And so we were desperate to find another solution, and we were on, this is a funny story, but we were on a Southwest Airlines flight. And in your seat back, there's a magazine. I forget the name of the Southwest Airlines magazine, but we flipped through the whole thing from start to finish while I was on a flight with another director. And we both landed on an ad that was probably 1 inch by 1 inch, and it said 8x8, cloud-based phone system management for small businesses. And yeah, I mean, we're not a small business, but it intrigued us, so we ripped out that little ad, put it in our wallet, and I think on Monday morning we called 8x8 and wanted to know what they were all about.
I always wondered whether those ads worked or not.
Yeah, I guess for us they did. 6 years we've been with you guys, so
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're pretty happy with serendipitously falling upon that ad at maybe the second to last page of a Southwest Airlines mag.
So now I heard you talk about call quality being a major important factor for you. I heard you talk about international dialing and multi-site operations there as you've grown, and by the time you were in this process, you were multi-site. Tell us about your decision criteria and the process you went through to come to the 8x8 cloud.
Yeah, okay. So, we have a number of different reasons for using a cloud-based phone system. One being that it's cost-effective. Two, that it's managed in the cloud, and you don't have to necessarily have a fleet of IT guys that just stare at, a phone room and wondering if, all the blinking lights are indicating success or failure. We have an army of IT people, but I think it's better to have this managed by a company that specializes in it, as opposed to, the manager for the telephone room is out sick today, and we don't have enough redundancy. We are not unlike Bizmatics, right, as James was saying, I mean, he's a technology company. We're not a technology company. We're a finance company, and we don't want to masquerade as something other than who we are. So, when we switched from, an on-premise phone system to a cloud-based system with 8x8, it was really a cost of ownership advantage for us because they just made it too easy. Not only does 8x8 sell phone service, but they sell the phones. They sell toll-free numbers and local numbers and vanity numbers. And again, right, the phone service is what they specialize in, but they just have, it's too easy. they have all these ancillary items that make it just a no-brainer decision to switch to them. Now, the international call quality, as David was saying with 8x8, was a huge issue for us because we had experienced it with the outsource or offshore Filipino call center. When the market got, 2008, when the market got squirrely, the financial services market, and basically, destroyed the worldwide economy, we realized that both paying a company offshore to manage our customers probably wasn't a good idea, and then also that using somebody else on-prem VoIP system where we don't know what type of technology they're using was probably a bad idea. So that drove us to start our own call center in Latin America. We did that with 8x8's help. And believe it or not, it's as simple as going online, clicking 3 buttons, ordering 5 new phone lines, them, overnighting the phones to you, plugging the phone in with a Cat6 network cable, turning it on, hitting 5 buttons, and the phone is live. And so, it's the cost of ownership, that was a huge advantage. Having 8x8 manage it and manage how often it's up versus how often it's down was a huge issue. The DIY aspect, I'd love to speak about that if I could. Do we have enough time?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Go for it.
Yeah, okay. So our company is what some may call a fintech company. This is a new term, but essentially it's, there's a huge amount of small business or medium-sized business owners that were left out hanging out to dry by large banks and financial institutions following the economic malaise of 2008. And while the larger banks ignore them, companies like us, or fintech companies, have stepped up to the plate with customized financial solutions that make it easy for them to acquire the funds or the equipment that they need. And in doing so, we have to do a lot of marketing to capture, to alert these small, medium-sized businesses that they're not underbanked or that they're not sort of ostracized from the finance community. So welcoming them back in with open arms was an instrument that was accomplished with direct mail. And we had never done direct mail before, but we were with 8x8. And so the idea was, okay, well, how do we do it? And so, it was a lot, you would think it would be like, you were blindfolded and somebody spins you around, puts a bat in your hand and asks you to hit the piñata, right? Well, for us in 8x8, it wasn't like that at all. We actually had a rep in San Jose who was very experienced with call campaigns, and they helped us set it up once. And it was kind of like that Ronco Food Electric rotisserie or whatever it's called, the set it and forget it. For us, they showed it to us once insofar as how to set up a call campaign, and I don't think they ever had to show us again. And we're talking setting up ring groups with ease, putting people on a call campaign, removing them from the call campaign depending on shifts or capabilities, knowing who's on a campaign and who's off in real time, setting up, messaging on hold, voicemails, and that types of thing. I mean, with clicks of buttons. For a ring group, you want a messaging on hold message today to say something. Well, in 5 hours, if you needed to say something else, it's uploading an MP3 to the cloud, hitting submit, and then you test the line, you call it, you hit that ring group selection. What do you know? The messaging on hold's there. And so that daily reporting on calls and call length with attributes on who called in, who called out, length of call. It just helped us manage how each individual direct mail campaign was faring in a live format, which for us, it's invaluable. We had never tried direct mail, and I got to say, it's like 8x8 was vested in that interest, which was, it was an amazing thing. And 6 years later, we're still doing it.
It's interesting. One of the things that this comes across to me, and I wasn't necessarily expecting this, but both of you are representing your visionary companies, addressing needs that are real and and current, their new needs. You're addressing there as a fintech company, really addressing